Are you wondering if now's the right time to buy or sell in Kitchener-Waterloo? Our 2022 Year in Review Market Update will give you all the insights to make that decision. Roll the intro. Want to succeed in the real estate game? The key to success is staying informed, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Vibrant Kitchener-Waterloo was in high demand in 2022, but that didn't make it any easier for buyers to enter the market. With limited inventory and rising interest rates, many prospective home buyers were priced out of the market. And as we head into 2023, home affordability remains everyone's top concern. So folks, if we look back at how 2022 started, there was low inventory at the beginning of January and February, and there was tons of optimism in the market. Interest rates were low, lots of buyers were excited to get into the market, and unfortunately there was a huge amount of bidding wars, which is leaving a lot of buyers in unsuccessful positions, wanting to get that next home and feeling some desperation. We had peak sales in March across all categories, and that's when the Bank of Canada introduced their first interest rate hike of the year. As you can see by the graph, this threw the whole market into a bit of a chaotic tailspin. From the peak of February at the average price across all property types being $1,007,109 to a steady decline throughout the spring market and early summer market, and then flatlining around July, where it continued to stay relatively stable. In my opinion, the interest rate hike instilled a bit of fear and uncertainty into buyers that were anxious to get into the market and caused them to be afraid to pull the trigger on purchasing a new home, which pulled a lot of the demand out of the market. Due to the low inventory, high optimism, and low interest rates, the majority of homes that were listed on the market at the beginning of the year in January and February were going into multiple offers and going into crazy bidding wars, forcing a lot of buyers to be sitting on the sidelines, wanting and desiring that next home even more. Now, if we use volume as a lens to look at 2022, it shows a little bit of a different perspective. At the beginning of the year, we had just over 400 homes sell in January, and then it quickly spiked to 600 homes in February, and the peak was 725 homes sold in March, which coincided with the Bank of Canada's first interest rate hike. And again, there's a bit of chaos going on in the market there. Things quickly dropped off in April, peaked up in May, and there was a lot of confusion in the market. Lots of sellers were hoping for those beginning of the year prices in the peak of February, and were stuck with realizing that, hey, buyers aren't gonna be paying that anymore. Buyers, on the other hand, were sitting and thinking, hey, if the Bank of Canada increased the rate now, they're likely going to be increasing this throughout the year. Maybe prices are going to fall. So there was a lot of gridlock happening. And if we look at the pricing graph again, prices continued to fall. Now, I commonly hear many buyers say, we're going to wait until sale prices drop before we purchase a home. See, the thing is, sale price is only one factor out of a complex soup of variables that determine the outcome of you owning a home. If we do a little bit of a case study comparison here, and we just look at comparing the peak price in February to our lowest price in December of 2022, where prices ended up, the peak pricing in February was just over $1 million for an average home, okay? And then December, the average price was just over $720,000. Now, during that time, we had a significant amount of interest rate hikes consecutively, which caused the affordability to go down for every prospective buyer. So if we compare prices and mortgage rates, etc., for February here, and I've done a little bit of a comparison chart for you folks, we're gonna do two types here. So we're gonna compare fixed mortgage rates with a 20% down payment. So we're not gonna be talking about anything that's an insured mortgage under 20%. This is just for illustrative purposes, guys. So we're gonna look at fixed mortgage rates, comparing peak price and then the lowest price. And then we're also gonna do that same comparison with variable mortgages, comparing the peak price and the lowest price. So if you were to buy in February or buy in December. So the first example we're gonna use here, folks, we're gonna use a fixed mortgage with a 20% down payment, purchasing a home hypothetically in February of 2022 at $1,007,000. So you're gonna be putting 20% down. The loan term is 25 years and a sample interest rate that was offered at the time, we're gonna use 2.84%. So the house price is $1,007,000. Loan amount is just over $805,000. The down payment that you would have required to purchase this home in an uninsured mortgage would have been just over $200,000. So the monthly payment with this scenario worked out to be $3,746.64. Now, fast forwarding to the end of the year, where prices fell almost 20, or actually over 28%, the average home price in December was $721,000. So if you were to purchase that home then with 20% down and a 25-year loan term, the interest rate that was being offered around this time that we found was 4.84%. Now, if we look at the purchase price, again, $721,000, the loan amount would be significantly less than February, $576,800. So your down payment would have worked out to $144,000, and your monthly payment would actually be $3302.35. So a little bit less, but not that much less considering how much less the home price was. If we're doing a spread here of, $1,007,000, let me whip up my calculator here. That works out to a difference in price from February to December of $286,000. So quite a significant decrease. Your payment was only $444 less a month, and the purchase price was $286,000 less. So it's crazy the relationship between interest rate, amortization, and how big of a gap that is. You'd think that you'd be saving a lot more, but you're not really saving that much. And if we look at variable rate mortgages, we've got a similar relationship, which I'll demonstrate right now. So same numbers here, guys. We'll use the February peak price of $1,007,000. We're gonna use a 20% down payment. Loan term or amortization period is 25 years, but the interest rate that was being offered on the variable end in February was so low. It was 1.35%. This is historically low. This is what drove this craziness of everyone wanting to jump into the market, because money was essentially free in February of 2022. So house price, $1,007,000. The loan amount was $805,600. Down payment, $201,400. And at that 1.35% interest, your monthly payment was $3,164 per month. Now, fast forwarding till the end of 2022 in December, home price was $721,000. Same thing, 20% down payment, loan term 25 years. The interest rate that we found for a variable mortgage that was being offered for some of the mortgage lenders was 4.9%. So such a huge jump, guys, in interest rate. This is where you'll see something staggering. House price, $721,000. Loan amount, $576,800. Down payment, $144,200. The monthly mortgage payment was $3,321.94. So it was actually more money per month to purchase a home that was $286,000 less in December of 2022 in comparison to February of 2022. So as you can see, prices dropped 28%, almost $300,000 from the peak to the trough of 2022, but the monthly payment was only 5 or 10% either more or less depending on the scenario you had between a variable or a fixed mortgage. So it's not that significant of a difference. The good thing is that you're paying less for a home, but you're gonna be paying way more interest relative to your mortgage price. And with this relationship, folks, a lot of folks have been asking me, Peter, when's the right time to buy or sell? Or Should I wait? Well, listen, it's all relative, guys. This is a clear example here. A home that was almost $300,000 more in February, now in December ends up costing more per month to actually float this home. And this is where we're getting to a gridlock with the market rolling into 2023. I think we are going to be seeing some stabilization here and some equilibrium, so to speak. Less buyers are able to afford these homes at those prices for what you're getting. And less sellers are eager to put their home on the market if they're looking to cash out of the market. This is quite a bit of a haircut for them to cash out at. So they're holding off. They're seeing if their market's gonna rebound in the next year or two. Okay, so let's have a look at a few more factors here. Volume, months of inventory, and the length to sell a home. So at the beginning of the year, we saw volume and new listings increase to a peak in May of just over 1,400 new listings that were added. Active listings that were on the market active at the end of a month peaked in July at almost 1,300 listings. And we can see that listings tapered off to the end of the year quite significantly in December, ending off at 575 in an active status. Now, months of inventory, if you folks recall, months of inventory is the length of time it would take to sell off the current inventory at any given time at the current rate of sales. If we look at January, months of inventory was 0.3, so it was just over a week to sell off all of the inventory in the market, and things slowly crept up to going over 1 month, so 1.2 in April, sliding into a peak in June of almost 2 months, so 1.8 months to sell off the inventory. And then things kind of slid down to the end of the year, and we ended off in December at 0.9, so less than a month to sell off the current inventory. Days on market significantly increased. At the beginning of the year, it took just over a week to sell a home. We wrapped up December at almost a month to sell a home, 25 days to sell a home. So 3 times longer to sell a home in December versus the beginning of 2022. I expect that this will continue into 2023. We've got a pretty balanced market right now. We've got less buyers in the market, less sellers that are in the market right now. So only really the people that are transacting are the buyers that can afford to purchase a home at the current interest rates, and the ones that need to, and then the sellers that actually want to sell are in the market, and those are the folks that are transacting together. So if we look at the graph and we jump back into the pricing, you guys can see that as of July, prices slid down from the peak in February, and then they slowly decreased into December down to that 720. I expect that we'll probably float around that $700,000 mark as we roll into the beginning of 2023. Again, this will be a factor of available inventory and the eager buyers that are in the market, and also what's gonna happen with the interest rates. Bank of Canada will likely increase the rate in the 4th week of January, so we'll see what sort of an effect that has. But I expect it'll be a very different market than we've seen in the past years, and we will see. Whew, that was a lot. Let's take a look at some of our favorite projects and moments from 2022, and we'll wrap this video up with some Q&A with Peter K.
Even just in the community, when we said that we were relisting with Peter, everyone said, oh, well, you're going to sell your house. He has that kind of name out there.
Our expectation was high. Peter sold our house for more than we were expecting, and we are so happy.
after the sale of our house and our entire experience dealing with the Kostecki team, there isn't a shadow of a doubt that I would highly recommend, Peter, to sell your house.
Okay, Q&A with Peter K. Lakshay Kapoor writes, hi Lakshay, will interest rates come down in 2023? Well, this is the million-dollar question. Lakshay, I don't think so. I think we're gonna experience an interest rate hike from the Bank of Canada on the 25th of January. I think we might see some relief later in the year, but I think if anything, we're gonna stay relatively flat. We probably will go up a little bit higher yet, but we will see. So we'll see how that goes. Actually, that just reminds me, there's a new first-time homebuyer program here for all you first-time homebuyers. This will be coming into effect April 1st of this year. It's called the Tax-Free First Home Savings Account, which is abbreviated as FHSA. This is designed to give first-time homebuyers the ability to save $40,000 on a tax-free basis, which is actually a pretty good amount, with an annual contribution limit of $8,000. So essentially, you can tuck away some of your earnings, and that will be offset against your taxable income. And you've got a $40,000 limit, so it'll take you a few years to get there, but this is a great vehicle. Full details, I'll link them in the description below, but they're available on the Government of Canada website, and we'll link them up. If you guys want to see a video explaining this, let me know in the comments, and let's move along to the next question. Okay, next question. What does it take to become a successful realtor? I think for me, it breaks down to three main things. Number one is discipline. And there's a difference between discipline and motivation. Motivation is being rah, happy and excited to do everything. And although there are many days that I love real estate and dealing with people and all of the great things that come with that, there are many days that I'm not motivated. So discipline is doing the things that you need to do regardless of how you feel about doing them. So it's just like going to the gym, right? If you want to lose weight or you want to get in shape, you need to have a plan and consistently do it. If you don't feel like training today and you don't go, then guess what? Extrapolate that, and you don't go today, you don't go tomorrow, then you skip a couple days next week. That's gonna affect you in the long run. So discipline is key, and consistency and execution for your plan. Number two, modeling. So I always want to be the dumbest person in the room. And you might laugh, but if you surround yourself with people that know less about your industry or what you're trying to become better at, then you're not gonna learn much. So I always try to surround myself around giants, or, and it doesn't necessarily need to be physically. You can read books from people that are way smarter than you. You can hang out with other agents that are way smarter and more successful and have a longer career than you do. And there are many great things to learn from those people. My initial mentor, when I got into real estate, I learned a tremendous amount from him. He taught me so much. 25 years in the business, thousands of homes sold. My learning curve was accelerated exponentially rather than trying to figure everything out on my own. And this, I think, is important with anything, not just in real estate, but also in fitness, in learning how to play a guitar, and learning how to play the piano, learning a new language, doesn't matter. So modeling is key. That's what I stole from Tony Robbins, actually. Love him or hate him, he's great. And lastly is Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese concept of continuous improvement. So for me, I live my life every day wanting to get better. And it doesn't need to be drastic every single day. Every day I try to be 1% better in everything that I'm doing, whether that's in my relationship or my family or my business or my fitness and health. I always try to make an effort to improve and get an unfair advantage, so to speak, in every aspect of my life. So thanks for the question. 6-ear jammer. I know, it's bear jammer. PJ, what's up, buddy? So where do you see 2023 going for the market, and do you see foreclosures? So rewind this video, watch it for the 2023 update. I won't go through that again. Do I see foreclosures? I don't think foreclosures are gonna be prevalent. First of all, in Canada, we don't really have foreclosures. That's a United States thing. In Canada, we have power of sales. The difference between the two is, as I understand it, in the United States, the bank can repossess a home or foreclose on a home, and they can sell that home for whatever they want to get their money out and recoup their losses. They don't necessarily owe anything to the seller or previous owner of that home. So for example, you know, if a home was $1 million and the bank had, let's say, a $700,000 mortgage on that, they could sell that home for 700 grand, get their money out, and the homeowner would lose all of their equity. In Canada, it's a little bit different. We've got power of sales. So the bank actually will repossess a home once you get into a default position, and they actually owe you a duty to try to sell your home for the current market value that it is. So they actually have to show and go through due diligence and interview multiple agents, get a market value price, attempt to put it on the market for a long enough period of time to garner the right amount of offers and try to sell it for market value. Whatever they sell it for, of course, there'll be fees attached, commissions, penalties, etc. Maybe lawyer fees, whatever. And then whatever is left over in equity will be rebated to the previous owner. Now, in terms of power of sales, I don't think we're there yet. Many of the people that purchased, let's say 5 years ago or 4 years ago, and they were in a mortgage and they're falling into a difficult time now, they probably have enough equity to be able to put their home on the market, sell it for a profit still right now. They wouldn't be upside down. The only thing that I would be concerned about is folks that purchase, let's say in the peak in February and have to sell right now, and they're $300,000 less in terms of market value, and they're selling at a loss. That becomes a sticky situation where we may see some power of sales. Of course, I think there will be some, but I don't think we're gonna be flooded with those. So thank you for the question. Erica Jeffrey writes, should I sell now or next year? And what is the best time of the year to sell? So I've covered some of these answers in some of my previous videos, but I will give you a quick recap right now. So selling now or next year, this is user dependent or seller dependent. If you're needing to sell now and cash out of the market and move on out of the country, or you're retiring, which I know that you're probably not yet, I think that you know what's happening with the market right now, so you can kind of have an idea of, okay, I'm gonna get X amount of dollars today. Will the market drop significantly in the next year? I don't think so. I think it could go down a little bit, but I think it's gonna stay relatively flat. Maybe 5% down or 5% up. That's kind of where I see it. The other question is, what's the best time of the year to sell? Well, this is also a great question. With the year that we've had in 2022, the market was completely chaotic, right? Folks were selling at the end of 2021 in November, December, and then realizing that if they would have sold in February, they would have got an extra $100,000 or $200,000, so they were very upset. Then the folks were selling in March or April, losing money relative to February and selling for less and being upset with that, but then realizing even before their closing date, 2 or 3 months later, that they actually were up maybe $100,000 or $150,000 on their sale. So for this year moving forward, I think we're gonna have a more flat market. I think that selling in a market condition where there's low inventory is the best. So the beginning of the year, like January, February, the inventory is relatively low. Any buyer that's going out in the cold, I mean, we don't have a ton of snow right now, but it is cold, it's not really nice, it's not pleasant. If there's buyers looking and going out and actively pursuing homes, they're pretty serious, right? A lot of folks, unfortunately too, are parting ways at the beginning of the year. There's a lot of divorces in January. So this triggers folks needing to downsize or even sell their home. So there is some demand from that, but there's also not a lot of options. So if you're one of the options on the market when you're selling your home, buyers have a limited selection. So if you can make your home stick out, have it cleaned, staged, have it look good, have the right marketing plan, have the right realtor handling the transaction, you can stick out from the competition and attract the buyers that are in the market and get a great price. Once we get into the springtime, yes, homes with nice yards, gardens, etc., they will show better in the summer, but then typically there's gonna be a higher competition of other homes in the summer. So buyers are typically gonna gravitate towards the best options in their price point, and those homes will sell first. That being said, it's all relative, right? If you don't need to sell, then you kind of look at the right time in the market. If there's low inventory, it's usually a good time. to put your home up if it looks good. If you don't need to sell, then wait until the better opportunity comes. Okay guys, thanks for the questions. Wrapping up, 2022 was a chaotic market. 2023 is gonna be a very different world in real estate. I think it's gonna be more balanced. It's gonna be a lot more challenging for sellers. It's gonna be a little bit easier for buyers if they can afford it. So this year, we'll wait and see what happens with the interest rates. The most important thing for sellers this year is gonna be presentation, preparation, marketing. Those are gonna be the biggest things for your home. So clean it, stage it, market it correctly, have the right agent negotiating on your behalf, and you'll have a successful sale. Buyers, don't be overly eager to pull the trigger on a home. The market's slowing down right now, so you'll have the opportunity when it comes in front of you to purchase the right home, and you might even get a little bit of a deal there too. That being said, some homes are actually going into multiple offers still if they're priced correctly, and I think that's probably because of the low inventory levels. Me personally, I'm looking forward to 2023. We've got a lot of great content planned for you guys. If you have any specific topics that you want me to do a video on, leave them in the comments below. We'll see you on the next one, and peace out.